Hi there. I feel like we all, at some point or another, feel guilty about the books we haven't read. And this can be books that are personally interesting just to us, but a lot of the time they're also books that are either just popular on BookTube or popular with the nation or the world in general. And those books, I feel like, come with a little extra hint of guilt. Today, I'm going to talk about which books those are for me. Some of those books I might own and just not have gotten around to reading yet. And some of those books I don't even own at all. Some of those books might be winging their way towards me as I speak, because I have little to no self-control. The first book I'm going to talk about is one that's pretty famous. In fact, it's had a movie made out of it pretty recently, and it's not that it never appealed to me, I just never really knew what it was about. And that book is Divergent. To be honest, I still don't know what it's about. I got this book as a graduation present, and I know the series, like I've heard of the series, but I don't really know what it's about. I've heard it called, it's like the Hunger Games version 2, so I mean I can assume it's dystopic, right? I don't know. I have a feeling I'll like it. I generally like books that are pretty popular, but for some reason I just never bothered to learn anything about this one. The next one is kind of along those lines, except I don't even own any books in the series, and that is The Mortal Instruments. This is the first book in the prequel series, Infernal Devices, and this book I picked up when Borders was going out of business. I still haven't read it. I've never read any of the Mortal Instruments series. Again, I don't even really know what it's about, and I feel bad because it's super popular, and a lot of people really love it, and I would probably love it too. I just never bothered to learn anything about it. Again, this is not a good track record for me. Now let's move away from books that haven't been made into a major motion picture so I don't have to feel quite as bad. The next couple are kind of ones that are big on BookTube specifically. The first one is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I picked this up at Book Outlet because I know basically everyone and their mother on BookTube has read it and really enjoyed it. I don't really know what it's about. Again, I am such a sheep. Anything that BookTubers recommend, I'm just like, yes, I must have it. The next books, which I don't own any of them, is the Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi. I think I would really like that book series. I had never heard of it until starting BookTube, and now I really want to find it. The problem is that usually I like to get books kind of cheaper, and I haven't found that particular series anyplace that's particularly cheap. The next series I want to talk about is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I don't actually own any of those books, but I do have the first two coming to me shortly. I really like fairy tale sort of old-fashioned books like that, so I think I would really like the reimagining of those stories in the Cinder Lunar Chronicles, I think is the name of the series. I lied. I forgot a series that had been made into a major motion picture. That is the Percy Jackson series. That series, I believe, is more middle grade fantasy, but I do read the occasional middle grade series and really like it, especially fantasy series. I feel like fantasy transcends most age barriers, and so that one I do intend to pick up at some point, but because of the rapidly growing size of my to-be-read shelf, it's probably not going to be for a while. The last book series is one that actually a lot of my friends were really into, but I didn't pick up until I heard an endorsement from it from Reagan from Peruse Project. I get all my book recommendations from YouTubers. And that is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is part 1 and 2 of the first book in the Stormlight Archives. These are the UK covers, if you're wondering, because I really dislike the US covers of most adult fantasy books. I just find them super boring and not very interesting. These are an epic fantasy series that I would probably actually really like. I mean, I like most fantasy series. I really like the Name of the Wind series by Patrick Rothfuss. Oh my gosh, cannot wait for the third book. So exciting. Love fantasy books, so Really should have picked this up sooner. And that is it for the books that I embarrassingly haven't read yet. Let me know in the comments below what those books are for you, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!